While I was watching the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders on demand, because I've always admired I'm not just all about how they look. I've always admired the skill that they have on with their cheers and everything. Even though some of the other pro teams that I've seen, especially the local ones, I'm starting to like better than them now. I always admired, their skill, their level of excellence. But in looking at the tryouts and listening to how the things the coaches are looking for and whatnot, it seems like some of the things that they look for are things that people are not going to be able to really correct, no matter how hard they try, if they just aren't born with them, like long legs, and to some degree, the figure that a lot of the women have on the Dallas Cowboys team. They want a level of real fitness. I wouldn't really say fitness. They just want a weight level that you're not going to get by just exercise alone. You're going to have exercise plus nutrition and genetics. You're going to have that 1, 2, 3 combo of exercise, fitness, and genetics to get the look that they want. Plus, you have to be what they call HD friendly, which means they have to like the way you look on camera and in HD in order to make it on the team. Plus, you got to have the body dimensions that they want, which are genetic. And on top of all that, you got to have a level of talent that they want. And they're very competitive. Plus, you got to be able to learn their dance routines with minimal help whatsoever. And on the one hand, while we can laud and applaud them for their level of excellence, I mean, after all, we're talking about professional cheerleading. I'm assuming they get a lot of money. Maybe they don't. But I think some people want their local martial arts class to be like that too. Especially on the one hand, where I see how critical people are of a lot of instructors for being fat. Now, I'm not just saying that because I'm overweight, because really the type of fat that they talk about doesn't really pertain to me. And I kind of know that, but hey, I'm kind of clickbaiting on the one hand. But on the other hand, I think some of these people are being ridiculous. There was one martial arts practitioner. I've never met this guy. I've met people who've met him, but I've never met this particular guy that someone was criticizing on YouTube using some type of Darth Vader filter voice or whatever. And he's criticizing, one of his criticisms of the guy is he's overweight, saying if the guy's a full-time martial arts instructor, he should be in better shape than that. Why? Why would being a full-time martial arts instructor dictate that he be physically fit? No, not necessarily. Especially because, one, this guy is advanced in age. And two, depending on how he's running the business, he may not have time to devote to his own personal workout schedule like he'd want to. If you're traveling around the country, if you're running more than one school, I can very easily see how if you're a full-timer, you're devoting more time to teaching than to working out. And see, this is something that a lot of people don't realize. If you reference, it was one of the guy who does Karate by Jesse, it's one of his articles where he's talking about, I think it's about dispelling the karate myths. And one of the things he points out is that a lot of the karate masters of the past, and this applies to practically any martial art, in my opinion, that we know comes from Asia. These guys were rich. They were rich, or they came from some type of aristocracy. Now, what first hit me to this is when I came back into the martial arts. Before I went formal, I took a year where I just practiced on my own and read. I said, well, I don't want to just come back in completely lost. I want to try to get to where I felt like I was before I go back looking for lessons. So I started reading. And the internet became public around that time. So I'm looking up stuff. I'm looking up Yip Man. I heard about Yip Man. Didn't know much about him. So looking at Bruce Lee, looking at Yip Man. Notice they both came from money. Read about the founder of Aikido. notice he came from money. Looked at the founder of judo, notice he came from some type of aristocracy, money, was educated. Looked at the founding fathers of karate, notice they came from money. Notice that this whole thing about where it was a bunch of poor people who came up with these arts on the fly, the poor oppressed classes came up with this stuff, just organically. That's actually only applied to African Americans in my area that I live in. And not even necessarily to them, they were just underclass in terms of race. But a lot of those guys had jobs. Anybody who's really poor and struggling, they ain't got time to sit around beating up imaginary people, doing forms and katas, tools, poomsays, whatever, when they need to get a job. They can only do that when they're kids and somebody else is paying the bill. So if somebody else is footing the bill, yeah, you got time to work out as long as you want and look pretty. It's like now when you're a professional fighter, now if you're a professional fighter and your job is primarily fighting and not instruction, yes, you can be in tip-top shape because you're expected to spend a lot of time being in condition. But see, some of y'all want pro-level fighter physique and readiness, and the person to be a full-time instructor. There's just not enough hours in the day for that. Not unless somebody else is fitting the bill. So, again, this is a case of where, just like trying out to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, it's a level of standard that only a handful of people are going to be able to have. They're going to have some type of genetic advantages along with hard work and possibly somebody else fitting the bill. And let's say they got all that. They're going to charge you for it. Because there's one martial artist, I'm not going to mention his name, that I think has all that. And he's very expensive. And I bet you a lot of y'all wouldn't want to pay the hundreds of dollars for his time, would you? You would probably say, he's about the money, he's selling out. He's selling out. So, when I start thinking about how in our so-called pursuit of excellence, or really just our unreasonable demands of judging other people, especially judging martial arts instructors, we want people to get a standard that we know we can never attain ourselves, and we have unrealistic demands on what they should be. And even if that person meets those demands, we're going to think we are too cute to pay the price to properly compensate them for their time and their ability.